More. What if the plan God dismantled was the very plan that would have dismantled you? We map our lives with neat lines and bright markers, more imagining a smooth road that respects our calendars. Then something shakes, a door slams, an offer disappears, a relationship ends, a diagnosis interrupts. More, it feels like loss, but so often it is a rescue in disguise. When God undoes a plan, He is not careless with your life. He is careful. More, He is a master builder, removing weak beams so the house does not collapse later. We love control because it feels like security. More, but control is a thin blanket in a winter storm. God will sometimes pull that blanket away to wrap you in something warmer, heavier, more real. More, He replaces the illusion that you are carrying the future with the reality that He is carrying you. This is not abandonment. More, it is adoption into a wiser way to walk. Consider the seasons when everything seemed to stall. More, the silence between what ended and what begins can feel like a wilderness. Yet the wilderness is not wasted. More, it is a classroom where dependence is taught and depth is formed. In hidden places your roots go down. In quiet places your ears tune to a new frequency. More, the very delay you resent becomes the training ground for the next assignment you could not have handled yesterday. Closed doors hurt. More, but a closed door is not a verdict, it is a steering wheel. If you push and nothing moves, it may be because the path ahead has potholes you cannot see. More, God is not only the opener of doors, He is the merciful closer. He does not just want you to succeed, He wants you to be whole. More, there are opportunities that look like ladders, but lean against the wrong wall. Better to pause than to climb fast in the wrong direction. More, when plans crumble, our first question is usually why. A better question is what? What is being formed in me right now? More, what is God removing that I do not need to carry into the next season? What new capacity is being built through this pause? More, the shift from why to what turns pain into purpose and confusion into curiosity. More, it loosens your grip on the script you wrote and makes room for a story that is richer, truer, and far more aligned with who you are becoming. More, some of us mourn the plan more than we honor the purpose. We cling to a picture that was only meant to be a sketch. God reserves the right to redraw. More, He is the potter who refuses to fire a vessel with hidden cracks. He will reshape the clay, not to shame it but to save it. More, the reshaping feels like loss because you are losing familiarity, but you are gaining strength, capacity, and alignment. More, what looks like breaking is often remaking. Do not confuse comfort with confirmation. Ease is not the evidence of calling. More, sometimes the path you are meant to walk is uneven, and the resistance you meet is building muscle you will use later. More, God grows your voice through rooms that do not applaud you. More, He builds courage by letting you face nights when you cannot see the next turn and must move forward anyway. More, faith becomes sight only after you take the step. So how do we live when God destroys our plan? First, release your timetable. More, place your expectations on the altar and ask for a heart that prefers direction over speed. Second, practice gratitude in the hallway between doors. More, gratitude does not deny pain, it anchors you while pain passes through. Third, seek wise counsel and honest community. Isolation magnifies fear. More, community magnifies truth. Fourth, take the next faithful step. Not the next spectacular step, the next faithful one. God guides movers, not statues. More, guard your inner life while the outer plan shifts. Watch your words, speak life over your future. Watch your focus. More, stop rehearsing what went wrong and start rehearsing what you have learned. Watch your worship. More, elevate the one who writes the story above the chapter you are reading. When you keep your heart aligned, detours do not destroy you. More, they deliver you to intersections you never would have chosen and blessings you never would have found. Divine disruption is often protection. More, not punishment. When our carefully built plans collapse, it is natural to feel abandoned or overlooked. Yet, more, the reality is often the opposite. What appears to us as destruction may, in truth, be preservation. More, we cannot see the dangers hidden in the path we were so determined to follow. We only see the surface, the opportunity, the relationship, the dream, more the door that once looked open and full of promise. God, however, sees the hidden pitfalls, the unseen traps, and the weight we are not yet ready to carry. More. When He steps in and dismantles what we thought was perfect, He is not tearing down to harm us, but to shield us from what could have consumed us. More, in His wisdom, He pulls apart the walls we built on weak foundations, sparing us the pain of collapse later. More, what feels like rejection is often redirection away from harm, away from wasted years, and toward something we could not have imagined. Protection, however, more, rarely feels gentle. It is not wrapped in soothing words or wrapped in explanations that make sense to us immediately. More, protection often comes disguised as frustration, disappointment, or loss. We pray for doors to open, only to find them sealed tight. More, we set our hearts on outcomes that vanish before they ever fully bloom. The sting of these moments is real, and our natural reaction is to question why. More. But what if the very no we resent is the shield we need? What if the heartbreak, the delay, or the collapse is not God being against us? More, but God standing between us and something that would have broken us in ways we cannot see. Divine disruption is mercy in motion. More. It is the unseen hand pulling us away from lesser things so that greater things can take root. Think of a child reaching for fire. More, the parent who pulls the child away does not explain in detail the science of burns, the healing process, or the lifelong scars. More, the parent simply yanks the child back. To the child, it feels sudden, harsh, even confusing. To the parent, it is protection born of love. In the same way, more, when God disrupts, it may feel jarring, but His motive is the same: love. He is the Father who cannot stand to see us walk headlong into destruction. More, so He redirects us. His disruption is not neglect, but a deeper form of care that sees what we cannot. More. There are plans we cling to because they align with our desires, but not with our destiny. We see them as good. God sees them as insufficient. More, we think they will fulfill us. God knows they will limit us. Divine disruption removes what we think we need so that we can discover what we truly need. More, it clears the ground so that seeds of greater purpose can be planted. What looks like demolition is often preparation for construction on stronger ground. More, when you recognize this, the pain of disruption does not vanish, but it transforms. More, you stop interpreting loss as punishment and start seeing it as protection. You learn to trust that even in the breaking, you are being built. More, so when your plans crumble, resist the temptation to see only the ruin. Look deeper. Ask yourself, what is being preserved in this moment? More, what is God protecting me from that I may never fully understand? More, the very thing that feels like destruction may be the greatest act of mercy you have ever received. And when time passes, when new doors open, more. And when you step into the life you were meant to live, you will look back and recognize the truth: divine disruption was never meant to punish you. More. It was always meant to protect you and to prepare you for the greater plan that was waiting all along. More. Closed doors are redirections toward a higher calling. It is a truth we often resist because the sound of a door shutting in our lives feels final, heavy, more, and unfair. We knock, we push, we plan, and we imagine our future flowing through that very opening, only to find it locked tight. In that moment, more disappointment can blur our vision. We may interpret the closed door as rejection, as though we have failed or been overlooked. More, but the reality is that a closed door is not an ending, it is a divine steering. It is not meant to keep you out, more, but to guide you into what is better aligned with your true purpose. When God closes a door, He is not robbing you of opportunity. More, He is saving you from misalignment. There are pathways that seem right to us, full of promise on the surface, yet they do not lead where we think they will. More, some doors open into rooms too small for our calling, relationships too shallow for our soul, or opportunities too limited for our growth. More, we might have entered and settled unaware of how much more God intended for us. So the door closes, not to deprive us, more, but to deliver us from living beneath our true design. This act, though painful, is an act of mercy. More, Think about the times in your life when you chased something with all your energy, convinced it was the answer, only to have it slip away. Later, more. With the perspective of time, you realized how differently things could have unfolded had you gained it. Perhaps it would have drained you, distracted you, more, or destroyed what was most valuable in you. That door was never meant to open, not because you were unworthy, more, but because you were destined for something else. More, God's wisdom sees beyond the short-term satisfaction we crave and moves us toward long-term fulfillment we cannot yet grasp. More, closed doors are also invitations to growth. When a path is blocked, it forces us to pause and reflect. It makes us search deeper, think broader, more, and stretch our faith. In the waiting, character is forged, patience is cultivated, our dependence on God deepens, because when we cannot force a door open, more, we learn to trust the one who holds the keys. The very frustration of being shut out can awaken in us a resilience, a creativity, more, or a direction we never would have explored otherwise. Sometimes the detour is the very road that takes us to the place we truly belong. More, the beauty of divine redirection is that it aligns us with higher callings we would not have chosen on our own. Left to ourselves, more, we often settle for what looks good, what feels safe, or what comes easily. God, however, knows the weight of our destiny, more, and He refuses to let us shrink into comfort when we were made for calling. A closed door is His way of saying, do not settle here. Keep moving, there is more. And while it feels like rejection in the moment, it will later be revealed as protection and preparation. So, when you face a closed door, more, shift your perspective. Instead of asking why it closed, ask where it is pointing you. More, trust that the hand that shuts one path is the same hand that is guiding you to another. Remember that you are not abandoned in the hallway. More, the closed door is only a chapter, not the conclusion. Behind it is the unfolding of a plan greater than your own. And when the right door opens, more, it will not require you to force your way in. It will open with grace, peace, more, and the unmistakable sense that you are exactly where you were always meant to be. Surrender breaks the illusion of control and unlocks guidance. More, we live much of our lives gripping the reins of our own plans, convinced that if we map everything carefully and push hard enough, more, we can shape the outcome exactly as we desire. This illusion of control is comforting, but it is also fragile. Life has a way of proving, again and again, that no matter how perfectly we design our strategies, unexpected turns will come. A diagnosis can appear, a job can be lost, a relationship can unravel, more, or circumstances can shift overnight. When these moments arrive, the grip of control slips, and we are faced with the truth, more, we are not the ultimate authors of our lives. Surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. To surrender is to release the weight of having to know everything, more, fix everything and manage everything. More, it is an acknowledgement that there is a greater hand at work, one that sees further than we do and knows what we cannot know. More, control tells us to clutch tightly to our own blueprints. Surrender invites us to open our hands and trust that when one path disappears, more, another is being formed. This act of letting go does not mean inaction. It means a shift in posture from anxious striving to trusting alignment. More, we still walk, we still act, but no longer under the burden of carrying the whole universe on our shoulders. The illusion of control creates exhaustion. More, we plan, we worry, we manipulate circumstances, and we often measure our worth by how well things align with our vision. More, but the truth is that control can never guarantee peace. At best, it provides temporary satisfaction, and at worst, more. It leaves us shattered when things fall apart. Surrender, on the other hand, frees us. It frees us from the relentless pressure of being our own savior. More, it allows us to breathe, to rest in the assurance that guidance is available beyond our own strength. When we release our grip, more, we make room for clarity and direction that were invisible to us while we were consumed with trying to orchestrate everything. More, surrender also sharpens our ability to listen. When we are obsessed with controlling outcomes, more, the noise of our own thoughts drowns out the quiet whispers of guidance. More, we become so busy forcing doors open that we fail to notice the ones already waiting for us. But when we surrender, our ears open. We hear differently. More, we sense direction not from panic, but from peace. In stillness, we can perceive the subtle nudges that tell us when to wait, when to move, more, and when to release something that no longer serves us. It is important to understand that surrender is not the same as giving up. More, giving up is rooted in despair. Surrender is rooted in trust. Giving up says nothing can be done. Surrender says, more, I will stop trying to do this my way and allow the higher way to unfold. One leads to hopelessness, the other leads to guidance and breakthrough. More. In surrender, you stop wrestling with the locked door and start noticing the open window. More. You stop exhausting yourself in your own strength and begin to walk with a strength that flows from beyond you. More. Many of the greatest transformations in life come after surrender. The moment we stop clinging to how we think things must be, new possibilities open. More. The job we lost makes space for a calling we would have overlooked. The relationship that ended creates room for healing and healthier connections. More. The plan that failed positions us for one we could not have written. In surrender, guidance becomes clear, not because we suddenly know everything, more but because we finally make room for the one who does. So when your plans unravel, do not panic, pause, breathe, open your hands. More, release the illusion that you are meant to control every outcome and instead lean into trust. More. Surrender is not the end of your story. It is the doorway to the truest guidance your life could ever follow. More, it is the moment where your strength stops and divine direction begins. And in that exchange, you will discover peace, purpose, more, and a path far greater than the one you were trying so hard to control. Delay is preparation. Hidden seasons forge visible strength. More, there is something deeply uncomfortable about waiting, about living in the in-between where prayers seem unanswered and progress feels invisible. More, we often view delay as wasted time, as if nothing good can come from it, as if the stillness means God has forgotten us. Yet delay is not denial. More, delay is the workshop of growth, the quiet place where roots stretch deeper, so that branches can one day reach higher. What we call waiting, more, God calls preparing. In the hidden seasons when no one is applauding and no breakthrough is visible, more, the unseen work of transformation is happening within us. Think about how a seed must remain buried before it ever breaks the surface. Underground, more, in darkness, invisible to the eye, it is not lifeless but alive, stretching, strengthening, forming. That hidden time is not wasted, it is essential. More, without it, the seed would have no foundation to endure the sun, the wind, or the storms it will face once it grows. Our lives are the same. More, the hidden seasons, the delays we resent, are building resilience, maturity, more, and faith that will sustain us when we finally step into the visible parts of our calling. Without the hidden work, more, the visible fruit would collapse under pressure. Delay is where God shapes character. When everything comes quickly and easily, more, we may taste success but lack depth. We may step into opportunity but lack the endurance to hold it. Waiting stretches us. It tests our patience. More, chisels away our pride and teaches us to lean not on our own timelines but on God's. The very frustration of delay can produce humility and gratitude. More, because when the breakthrough finally comes, we no longer take it for granted. We know the cost of waiting. We know the lessons learned in silence. More, we carry strength born not from instant gratification, but from perseverance. In hidden seasons, more, God often removes what cannot go with us into the next chapter. He strips away distractions, purifies motives, and teaches us dependence. More. What feels like stagnation is often separation from things that would weigh us down later. The friendships that fade, the opportunities that slip away, more, the doors that remain closed. They are not always losses, but pruning. Just as a gardener cuts branches to make room for more fruit, more, God uses seasons of delay to clear the space for something greater to grow. there is also training in the hidden time. Skills are sharpened, more wisdom is gained, and inner strength is built. David fought lions and bears in secret fields before he ever faced a giant in public. More, the quiet battles nobody saw were preparation for the visible victory everyone would remember. Likewise, more, the challenges we face in our hidden seasons, small responsibilities, unseen struggles, silent prayers, are equipping us for larger purposes ahead. More, the lessons we learn in obscurity become the very foundation we stand on when our calling becomes visible. More, the hardest part of delay is the temptation to quit too soon, to mistake preparation for abandonment. More, but those who endure the hidden season with faith discover that it was never a pause, it was progress in disguise. More, delay stretches time not to hurt us, but to strengthen us. The longer the root system, the stronger the tree, the deeper the foundation. More, the taller the structure can rise, the more refined the heart, the greater the blessing it can carry. So if you are in a season of waiting, more, do not despise it. Do not rush past it. Honor it for what it truly is, a sacred classroom. Trust that the silence is shaping you. More, believe that what feels hidden is not wasted but woven into your destiny. Delay is not God saying no, it is God saying, not yet. More, because I am making you ready. And when the right time comes, you will see that the strength, wisdom, more, and resilience you carry were forged in the very delay you once prayed would end. God prioritizes your character over your comfort. More, it is natural for us to desire ease, safety, and quick solutions. We are drawn to the path of least resistance. More, where everything flows smoothly and nothing challenges our limits. Yet, more, the divine design for our lives is not centered on temporary comfort. It is centered on eternal growth. More, God is more invested in shaping who we are becoming than in preserving how comfortable we feel. Comfort feeds the moment, but character sustains a lifetime. More, comfort may keep us satisfied for a season, but character equips us to stand strong through every season. When we walk through life seeking only comfort, we often miss the deeper lessons hidden within challenges. Struggles feel inconvenient, pain feels unnecessary, and obstacles feel unfair. More, but these very moments are the crucibles where character is forged. Patience is not grown in instant gratification, it is grown in waiting. More, courage is not formed in ease, it is formed in adversity. Faith does not deepen when every plan succeeds. More, it deepens when nothing makes sense and you choose to trust anyway. God allows seasons of discomfort not to break us, more, but to build us into people who can carry weight, influence, and purpose with integrity. Consider how gold is refined. It is placed in fire, more, and the heat draws out the impurities. The gold does not enjoy the fire, but without it, it cannot reach its purest form. Likewise, more, character is refined through fiery trials. The heat exposes what should not remain, pride, impatience, fear, more, selfishness, and allows us to emerge stronger, clearer, and more aligned with God's heart. Comfort alone would never have accomplished that work. More, ease does not purify, it only maintains the status quo. Growth demands stretching, and stretching requires a level of discomfort. More, there is also a danger in comfort. Comfort can lull us into complacency, making us settle for less than what we are capable of becoming. More, it can make us cling to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves us. God loves us too much to let us stagnate in comfort zones. So, more, He will often allow disruptions that pull us out of what is easy in order to draw us into what is necessary. The job that ends, the plan that falls apart. More, the season that changes. All these can feel like losses, but they may be divine nudges moving us from comfort to growth. More, character also matters because it determines how we handle the blessings and opportunities God places in our path. Without strong character, more, success can corrupt us, influence can overwhelm us, and blessings can slip through our hands. More, God prepares us by strengthening our integrity before enlarging our territory. He knows that gifting without grounding can destroy us. More, so He builds patience before promotion, humility before honor, and endurance before elevation. Comfort cannot accomplish this kind of deep preparation. Only character can. In every uncomfortable season, there is an invitation to see differently. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask more, "What is being shaped in me?" That question shifts the focus from frustration to formation. It reminds us that discomfort is not random, more it is purposeful. Each challenge chisels us, each trial refines us, and each disappointment shapes us into vessels that can hold more than we imagined. More. So when you find yourself walking through moments that stretch you, remember this: God has not abandoned you. He is shaping you. More. He is prioritizing the strength of your character over the ease of your comfort. And while the process may be painful, the outcome is powerful. More. One day you will look back and realize that the seasons you thought were breaking you were, in fact, the seasons that built the strongest version of you. More. Comfort fades, but character remains. And in God's design, it is your character that carries the weight of His purpose for your life. More. Trust grows when you walk by faith, not by perfect plans. We often believe that the strength of our lives depends on how well we can plan, calculate, and predict outcomes. We map the steps, set the timelines, and convince ourselves that if everything unfolds exactly as we envision, then we will finally feel secure. But life rarely bends to the neatness of our designs. Plans falter, timelines stretch, and outcomes shift. In these moments, the foundation of our trust is revealed. If our confidence is built solely on the perfection of our plans, then when those plans collapse, so does our peace. But when our trust is rooted in faith, we discover that we can stand firm even when the details remain uncertain. Walking by faith requires a different posture. It is a decision to move forward without needing all the answers. It is choosing to trust that unseen hands are guiding you even when the road is unclear. Faith is not blind optimism. It is anchored confidence that there is purpose in every step, even the ones you do not fully understand. Perfect plans seek to eliminate risk and guarantee comfort. Faith accepts uncertainty, but believes that God is faithful to lead. It is in this space of unknowns that trust grows, because trust is not formed in certainty, it is formed in surrender. The truth is, trust cannot deepen when life is predictable. If everything always went according to our plans, we would never need to lean on anything beyond ourselves. But when circumstances unravel, when doors close, when delays stretch on longer than we imagined, we are invited to place our weight on faith instead of control. This act of walking by faith stretches us teaching us that peace does not come from knowing every detail, but from knowing the one who directs the details. Faith is like walking at night with only a lantern. The light may not reveal the entire path, but it always gives enough illumination for the next step. Trust grows in the willingness to take that step, even when the rest of the road is hidden. Over time, as you keep moving forward with limited sight yet consistent faith, you look back and see that the path was being woven all along. What felt like uncertainty at the time becomes, in hindsight, a story of guidance that never failed you. Walking by faith also shifts the weight of responsibility. When we rely only on perfect plans, we carry the crushing burden of making sure everything aligns. One wrong move, one unexpected twist, and we fear everything will fall apart. But faith transfers that weight. It reminds us that we are not the architects of every outcome, we are participants in a larger design. Our role is not to control the destination, but to take the next faithful step. Trust deepens as we let go of the need to hold every answer and instead rest in the assurance that the journey is being guided with wisdom beyond our own. Over time, the more we choose faith over fear, the more natural trust becomes. We learn that every disruption, every delay, every detour was not a failure but part of the unfolding process. We see that what looked like setbacks were actually setups for something greater. Each time we walk by faith and witness provision, guidance, or unexpected blessings, our trust roots itself deeper. What once felt terrifying becomes testimony. So do not wait for the perfect plan before you move forward. More, do not stall your life until every answer is clear. Trust is not born in certainty, it is born in steps of faith. More, every uncertain moment is an opportunity for trust to grow stronger, for faith to stretch wider. More, and for your heart to rest more securely in the truth that you are being led. Perfect plans may fail, but the one guiding you never does. More. And when you walk by faith, trust becomes more than a word. It becomes the unshakable foundation of your life. My friends, when we step back and see the full picture, we realize something profound. More. The moments when God destroys our plans are not the end of our story. They are the shaping of it. What felt like disruption was protection. More. What looked like rejection was redirection. What seemed like silence was preparation. And what appeared like loss was the refining of our character. More, every closed door, every delay, every detour was not meant to break us, but to build us into people strong enough to carry the weight of our true calling. More, we must learn to release our grip on comfort and control, and instead trust the higher hand that writes the chapters of our lives. Plans may crumble. More, but purpose remains. Dreams may shift, but destiny does not. When you choose to surrender, when you walk by faith instead of clinging to perfect plans, more, trust grows deep within you, and peace begins to guard your heart. So, if today you stand in the ruins of a plan you thought was perfect, lift your eyes. More, you are not abandoned, you are being guided. The breaking is not your ending, it is the birthplace of something stronger, wiser, more and greater than you imagined. Hold on to faith, walk with courage, more, and trust that what God rebuilds after your plans fall apart will always be more beautiful, more enduring, and more aligned with your true purpose. Your story is not over. In fact, it is just beginning.